John Kane tweets, James D. White, the Trump sign arsonist, pled guilty to 2 counts of destruction of personal property this morning. He was sentenced to 12 months probation and 80 hours of community service. Here's the video, and I wonder if we can zoom in. Is there any sound? No sound? Oh, I gotta jump back. So here you go. For what reason? He's kicking a Trump sign. It says Trump won on it.
And nothing happened to the sign.
And he's just kicking it.
He really did a number on that one.
I know what I'm going to do.
Metal on it too. He shows up at night or at
in his biker outfit. You gotta love it, right?
Look at this. He
tries to move the flag. Doesn't want to get charged with a non-hate crime.
He brings a lighter. He sets fire to a sign that says Trump won. And then he runs. He's on camera doing it.
Great run.
What was the purpose of running? Why did he have to run?
Right.
He walked to it and then he ran.
He knew he was doing something wrong. He's a child.
Yeah.
He's a child in a man's body. And like a child, he ran off because he was guilty.
Look at this. And then didn't he build it again? Oh, yeah. Look.
He came back.
He comes back again and does it. He only got probation for this. Look at this. The dude makes a sign again. He shows back up to burn it again.
Several months later.
In his bike outfit.
This is several months later?
Yeah, because the other 2 were in August, right? And this one's in February.
Was it August?
Yeah.
You're right.
Wow.
So he burned the sign. The sign got forgotten. And he just, we talked about this before. He kicks the sign and then leaves. And he's brooding about it. So he comes back with a lighter. And then the sign gets repaired, and he broods about it some more for several months. It comes back and does again. It's compulsive. He can't help it. That's how irritated and angry this sign makes it. It's a sign in a yard. Please calm down.
Maybe he needs to go on a longer bike ride or something,
Yeah.
It's not working. He needs to maybe go to a therapist.
Maybe he needs to take the biking outfit off for one night.
Look, what drives a grown man? 20 years ago, this is unthinkable. I think it's generational. I think people need to understand. Let me give you this cartoon example, right? Now, I can't remember what cartoon I was watching, but it's like a little kid, and it was like some wacky magic show. It might have been like Fairly Odd Parents or something. And then he gets turned into an old person, and his pants immediately shoot up to his elbows or to his armpits. The idea being that when you get old, you naturally just decide to pull your pants way up. No, it's because 50 years ago, people wore their pants much higher. Mm-hmm. Today, they still wear their pants much higher. Younger generations have different practices. So the idea now is we see something is wrong with people. What's driving people insane? No, you're mistaken. This guy was always insane. His generation 20 years ago, the reason we didn't see people doing this 20 years ago is because boomers were very different than this. Now you've got Gen Xers who are a very different generation, raised with different values, engaging in these behaviors. What do you think is going to happen when the jackass generation is old and angry about politics? It's already starting to happen. Jess Margera won't shut up about Trump. I mean, this guy does not like Donald Trump. And I'm like, you're the drummer from the Jackass videos. Why are you going on Twitter and screaming about Donald Trump? It's just these generations
it's crazy.
Are moving into political spaces. They're older. And what you'll get is this. So take a look at what millennials do. And now consider what they'll do when they're older, when they're the ones in charge of these institutions.
Well, I'll say this. So I have this Twitter following, right? I was on the board of this Fortune 500 company, which is our family's company. It's a $20 billion company. One of the executives was running a whole network of fake accounts, Tim, on Twitter to attack me using other people's identities. Can you imagine that? Yes, this is all true. Okay, he was fired from this Fortune 500 company for running all these fake accounts against me. My point being is this guy's however old, right? 45, 50 years old, multimillionaire executive. It's just like this guy it's different. This guy's doing arson. This guy's coming up with fake accounts. What is creating people to just go and do these crazy acts right now where they're hiding behind things or going out and doing this thinking nobody's going to catch them, and they're just totally mentally hijacked. And this is happening everywhere. Everywhere it's happening.
I don't think it was months apart. I think he put February was wrong or something like that.
He might. I remember when we talked about this initially, and there's maybe it's wrong. There's also I don't know where in the country this. There's no snow on the ground. The leaves look similar. But either way, He came back multiple days to be
It was multiple days. He corrected early on. He said that it was meant to be August, not February. So
still, just this biker man
I don't think.
But these are grown men.
Who I'm supposed to take
and so
seriously?
my point is,
no, thank you.
I don't think it's that Trump made them crazy. I think it's that they were raised in a country making them crazy, and now they're older, and we are seeing this, and it's shocking to us because we've never seen people this old. Look, when this guy was 17, I'm sure he did a bunch of really dumb stuff, and his friends laughed about it. I'm sure they bought cans of shaving cream and sprayed it all over the place, jumped in shopping carts and pushed people down the stairs, and were doing ridiculous things like that. Now he's an older guy, and he's doing the exact same things he's likely always done. Mm-hmm. We are just shocked to see someone who's older doing it, because when we were younger, older people did not do this.
Well, and we can catch them digitally too.
That's true, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we probably would have assumed it was some dumb kid.
Right.
Now we find it's some middle-aged guy or something like that.
Right, and he does, I mean, this is a small point, but he does try to move the American flag. Like, he doesn't want to burn the flag. That makes him not like an Antifa type, right? There's a line he is willing to draw. It's just the Trump sign that it's so under his skin. He's not just going to kick it. He's not going to light it on fire once. He's going to continue to try and burn it down. And I think that does show a level of, like, I mean, you got to hand it to him. He was persistent. He did not want that sign to be in his neighborhood, I guess.
I only see this getting worse. One of the things I've talked about quite a bit is the polarization is not caused by Trump. The polarization is rooted in the generations. And so the reason why we saw in the 90s, when you look at the Pew research on the political alignment, Democrats and Republicans overlap, because they did. Now you see the political alignment spreading. It's because younger people are polarized. And they're becoming more and more polarized based on the media they consume. When these 13-year-olds in 10 years are 23, they will be voting, and they are going to be as far left and as far right as possible. And then we're going to be like, what's polarizing this country? No. The country polarized a long time ago, starting with the younger generations. And then once they get older and start entering the voting block and start taking over industry, it becomes more and more apparent. And there's nothing you can do to stop.
Well, that's what I'm saying, too, is it's taking over industry, not just politics.
Right. And it's going to exacerbate to the point where the system can't sustain itself. You've got overt communists. How can you run a country with that's this divided? How can you coexist with people who fundamentally believe in things that you think are evil and wrong? The question I ask on the abortion issue for people on the right: if you think abortion is murder, would you act in defense of the baby about to be murdered? And most of them say no. But I wonder what happens when you have ideas like that hyperpolarize, and you get to the point where the next generations grow up, and then you have 30-year-olds who are substantially more polarized, and they're engaging in behaviors that are considered to be abject evil. I mean, look at MAID, for instance, medical assistance in dying. I mean, you've got in Europe young women who are like, I'm bored. And the doctor says, we will kill you. Quite literally, a woman said, I don't know what I'm alive for, and I have no purpose, and I can't take it, so I just want to die. And the doctors are like, okay. I feel like something like that comes to the United States, you are going to have people on the right be like, no, that's genocide. And when that happens, then what? The left is arguing for the right to sterilize children. I mean, we're at that point in polarization where we are getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think ultimately there comes a point where it's like you're stretching a rubber band, right? When it's pulled too far in different directions, either it snaps and you have two separate things, or you have to release it and it comes back together. It's not the same as it was before, but it doesn't have the same kind of tension. And I think America's culture is at a point where it could go either way. You could either see really serious divides among people, or you see a point when, the tension breaks and things come back towards the center. Obviously, I think one of those probably would be more peaceful and nicer for people. I don't think people want to see the country dramatically shift and break apart. But it does not seem like our culture can sustain the way it's going when it's actually pulling itself apart.
Do you think as many people hate Trump as used to? I mean, I think
No,
that there's...
I know for a fact that's not the case anymore. You can see it now when you go out to quote unquote touch grass. Mm-hmm. There are people who I've met. There's one guy that I've been talking to who's like a Gen Z guy, and he's just like, I was a Democrat a few years ago. Now I'm probably going to vote for Trump. And he's just like, it's the immigration, man.
Yeah. There are a couple of issues. And no one loves Biden, right? It's not like people really love Trump and some people are more neutral on him. But with Biden, they're like, well, this is what we have.
Yeah, it's a team thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're voting Democrat. They're not voting Team Biden. Whereas people would vote for Trump if he ran as an independent, right? People are behind Trump 110%, so much so that he really has changed the attitudes of the party, I think. I think the RNC has gone through a lot of internal change because of his influence. The DNC is effectively the same, and no one is out. I don't know anyone who's like, Biden is the best. I would follow him to the ends of the earth. They're more like, well, he has the right letter at the end of the ticket. So
it just feels like years ago, 50% of people hated Trump in so many ways. And now it just doesn't seem like that as much anymore.
Yeah. Just when you're talking to people?
Just when I'm talking to people, even the sentiment on Twitter, you know, like
For sure.
I posted a tweet a few weeks ago where I said, I talked to the president for a few minutes or something like that. If I had done that 3-4 years ago, I would have had probably 50,000 people unfollow me.
Right.
I didn't lose any followers.
Right.
That to me is an indication of some kind of sentiment. Now, what that is, I don't know. Now, you still got people who went absolutely crazy about that,
Sure.
but it just doesn't seem to be the way it was.
Yeah.
I knew people who had no business in politics vote for Joe Biden in 2020. And this is what I argued to Bannon when he was like, it was rigged, it was stolen. And I was like, yo, when I saw my skateboarder friend film a video of himself dropping his mail-in ballot saying, we got to vote for Biden, I was like, oh, wow, Trump lost. Skateboarders notoriously don't care about anything. Notoriously will live in a studio apartment with 10 people paying $50 a month if it means they have to work less so they can skate more. And here's a guy who's like in his late 20s being like, I'm doing my part and voting for Joe Biden. And I was like, wow, now that's mobilization. So today I don't see it. Today, a lot of these people are now saying like, yeah, that was a mistake. I've talked to some people and family members. They were like, I should not have voted for Joe Biden. A lot of people saying they regret it. I was hanging out at the poker tables a couple weeks ago, and one guy said, I voted for Biden in 2020. Boy, was that a mistake. I'll vote for Trump now. And I'm like, really? I was like, you a liberal conservative guy? And he's like, neither. I don't know. I just voted for Biden. Shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I hope that's
here
true
you
at
go.
scale, but every single person that I know that hated Trump in 2016 hates him more now. Like they're way gone.
All of them?
I can't think of one single person that I know in my family, in my circle of friends, my friends' friends. Not one person that I know has become interested in the idea of Trump. They hate him more.
You see,
This is anecdotal, so I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, mine is anecdotal too. Mine is that I know there are a couple people I know who just got more intense, right?
Yeah.
They're gone. There's no bringing them back. But a lot of people I know who identify as like either moderate or lean left, you know, they were going to vote for Biden before, but now they're like, well, I'm going to vote for Biden. Like the enthusiasm has gone out of it, right? There isn't the same level of like, we have to vote for Biden because we absolutely can't be Trump. They're like, well, I registered as a Democrat, so I should support that guy. But it's, again, like I said, there's no love for Biden. People aren't saying we really believe in his leadership. We really believe in his vision for the country. We know he will not trip upstairs again. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing about Biden's appealing except for the fact that they think they should be voting for him. And I think to that sense that complete irrational anger for some people has subsided. Maybe not for everyone, but I think it's changed.
See.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.